What is up, everyone? I am Kyle. I'm with Danny. This is Edited Truth. We are back for more casting of the pod, if you will. Today we are talking about 90s, late 90s, early 2000s movie soundtracks, OSTs. Back in the day when OSTs actually meant something, had meaning. We also got some news. We got some good, the bad, and the ugly. But of course, we're first gonna start it off, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Danny's here, by the way.
Oh, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
here.
He's ready.
I'm here. I know what's coming.
I know
what's
we're gonna
about to
start
happen.
it off with some
Here it
cringe.
comes.
Here we go. Are you ready for this, Danny?
I might
You ready
be.
for the cringe?
I think at this
Is
point,
your well-being like? Are you good?
I can handle it.
Your mood.
I think I
is-
can handle
okay.
it. I think I can handle it.
Okay, let's start off with this guy. I want you to explain what is happening to him.
I'm already thrown through a loop right here.
Here we go.
Okay. So the guy appears to have
Okay, let's
a
turn that.
selfie stick in
Uh-huh.
his. Oh my God! He's sliding down the slide and he's using his selfie stick, a kickstand is what I want to call it.
The butt cheek kickstand.
The butt cheek
yeah.
kickstand. It's an organic kickstand to hold the selfie stick in place.
Oh,
A wedge, if you will.
my.
He wedged it and then he did it, and he looked so proud, and he's gonna get all the likes.
Hey man, if you don't have a cameraman, I guess you gotta find ways.
I like the
right?
irony of what he's going for is layered into the fact that the other person is recording him and getting more probably feedback than this guy is getting.
Yes, that's the thing. Like, what's his video look like? It's probably
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
be
probably nobody
real.
cares, but then people
Let's
are
be
probably
real.
posting links to this video, and they're like, "This is
Yes.
the real video you should
This
have
is
posted."
where it's at. Look at them cheeks.
Where is it at?
All right, Danny. Look at this guy who's what
Oh
is
my
it?
gosh!
Throwing clay.
Oh.
That's what it's called when you shape clay. Throwing clay. But this guy got a little. Let's play that back. Danny. Hold on. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Look at him. He's
He's-
afraid, but then he goes in
Oh, he goes in.
confident.
It turns
Confident.
it's a pottery class, but it originally was like supposed to be a fucking like Pornhub episode or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Dude
was-
does not know what a pot looks like.
Yeah, he was jerking that clay off into something phallic, and then he tried to blow it, and then he just realized, oh, all these like non-organic or these chemicals are in my mouth now.
Yeah.
Or materials,
Ew.
minerals are in my mouth.
Let's do it again with sound.
No,
Wow.
It's like it's just wrong enough to get on the things, but it's still
man.
fucking horrible.
I mean, I don't blame him for doing
Some
this.
cringe to that.
It's always never the thing. It's the fact that you're filming the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that blows my mind more.
Yeah,
Like, I could believe that someone would do this.
we try to blow a fucking raw clay
Yeah.
pot.
Yeah. But, like, to film it and then do it, that's on a whole
Yeah,
different
that's-
level.
I guess. I feel like at the first level was like the whole shebang. Like once you just did that alone, you're like, I don't think you
Might as well.
I think you're like your sexual ploys and like your hobbies have bled into each other too much.
Yes.
You need to put more boundaries.
Yes.
Oh,
This girl, it takes a lot for her to get off. Let's just
a
say
lot
that.
for her to get off.
Let's just say that, okay?
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
All right.
Let me turn that down. That's that song.
You're
Yeah.
getting struck.
All right, right.
Wait.
She's trying. All right, right. She's listening.
Oh.
She's ready. She's ready. Right. She's ready. Let's do it.
She's gonna tase herself. Why? What?
That is.
What?
There
Oh,
she goes.
fuck, son.
Oh boy. So yeah, that's a taser to the vagina.
What? Now, was this a mistake and she thought it was like a vibrator or something, or was that just literally like this?
Feel like she
Any
knew
context?
she knew what she was doing.
Like, yeah, was this something she had tried before? And she's like, I'm
Right?
gonna do a video on it. She looked like she fucking seized out while it was happening.
Yeah.
Thank goodness she wasn't naked, but damn, that, oh man, maybe I
I mean,
wasn't ready for that.
Still though, that's a lot. Like,
Well, yeah.
what do you
but
have to do to get to that level? Like, just like regular masturbation's not doing it. I gotta step up my game.
All right. So if we're bracing the fact that maybe she did do this willingly, then I would say, yeah, it's hitting a point where she's like broken, and I think she just needs to become celibate or something and just let go of that kind of fun.
Maybe
get into arts and crafts.
But
don't
like this guy,
them.
right?
No, God damn it, you're right. Yeah, I was gonna say, but don't touch them inappropriately. I was gonna. No, you're right. All right. I don't know. We're all doomed. There's no way to help anyone. We've gone too far.
Let's fuck with some crackheads.
All right.
Here we go. This is always fun. Look at that.
Yep. He's doing it. He's cracking it.
There's glass there, right? By the way.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's trying to show us.
Can't do it.
Yep.
He can't. He doesn't realize. He just doesn't realize.
He keeps trying to.
A 2-inch thick glass between you two.
Yeah, he keeps trying to get this guy to light a cigarette, and the guy's like, "I'll hold the lighter up to the glass just to fuck with you," and he keeps following the lighter around like he can light it. And... He's so mad. He realizes what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, sad.
Not everybody has an internal dialogue, and his was just on what's in front of me, what's in front of me, what's in front of me.
All right, look at this drunk ass motherfucker at New York Comic Con. Can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy? Look at this guy. How dare he be so drunk at New York Comic Con?
Oh my gosh. They had to help him out. Oh my gosh.
It's terrible.
I know.
It's
Michael J.
bad
Fox
etiquette.
is the worst drinking problem in the world.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Yeah. I can't believe it.
And his grandfather's there.
His grandpa's
That's all
there.
sweet.
It's beautiful.
Is this his intervention? Are they having an intervention for Michael J. Fox and his drinking?
Finally.
God, I've been talking for years that someone needs to deal with that. No, that was good. Not gonna lie though, for a second there, I thought Christopher Lloyd was Larry David, and all I could think of was that Parkinson's episode where he's like, "Did you shake the can, or was it a Parkinson's shake?" And he's like, "I don't know, Larry. You tell me."
You tell me. You tell me.
That's a good one. It's weird though. He aged into Larry David. They look like each other. Just put some glasses on him.
Yeah. All right, last one. Bitch, I'm a cow. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. I'm not a cat. I don't say meow. Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm
You looking at the anime titties?
God damn it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I'm putting this on the soundboard.
I mean, the sound's a decent jam, and in context by itself. Even like if it was like an anime, like an AMV, like a quick video, like one of those AMV Hell clips, would probably almost be an AMV Hell Zero clip. But I mean, literally, this is like a furry dream come alive right here. This is too much. This is too fucking much. Like, God damn it.
Oh man.
People in there.
It's catchy.
It's
catchy. That's...
sucking off pottery and masturbating with self-defense weapons and people fucking anthropomorphic cows.
Yeah, man.
I feel boring, I guess.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's move on, shall we? To some news.
Little piece of me gets left behind each time.
Or we could just, go back to this guy.
No, God. See, that's the thing is, it's not even it's the context. It's like when we were watching Glorious and he kept touching shit on the floor of that public restroom. It's
God.
Think of the amount of like fucking minerals and just guck in his throat now. That shit that's like could dry and just give him this fucking gag and like reaction that's gonna cause him to go to the hospital. And he's gonna be coughing up mucus for days. Ugh.
Oh man.
This is why you do that. It's like remember that it was like Human Giant was the Aziz Ansari show with Rob Hummel. And like they had the clip about the guy cutting his dick off for the internet clip, and it's just like, well, I could do it the one time, and they're like, well, what do you do after that? And they're like, well, I did the dick cut off thing. I can't do anything else, man. Like,
where do you go from there?
Cut off other parts. There's nothing to top that. Plus, my dick's cut off, so I'm kind of dealing with that now.
Oh man.
So now that guy's dealing with like whatever crazy throat infection he has.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's famous now, kind of.
Good for him. Let's move on to some news, shall we?
Yeah.
First story of the day.
I thought we were moving on from cringe.
Sorry.
You faked me
My
out.
bad.
You faked me out. Jesus.
Danny Masterson sentenced to 30 years in rape case.
Good God. It's stuck on somebody finally.
Boy, that 70s show.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
I mean, this has been kind of
coming.
a known quantity in Hollywood for a while.
This has been coming for a while.
This is
right?
a bit like those moments where people were like, with were you going back to Harvey Weinstein?
Yes.
So a lot of the Harvey Weinstein stuff where like those jokes were there. If you go back and look at a lot of Danny Masterson jokes, especially his interviews with Conan, there's a lot of little jabs there in between the lines where you're like, oh, I wonder if Conan's like, he knows that he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he's like calling him out in between the lines. But you could be reading into it more. But this was known for a while, and he dodged it for a bit. So that it stuck finally was a bit of a surprise. Scientology didn't come to save him, though.
Not this time.
He's not Tom Cruise. If he was Tom Cruise,
what level is that?
Yeah.
Like, you think anyone else is on it? Like, they made a level for him, I feel.
Feta Squared, I hear.
Oh,
it's Feta Squared.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
But you have to buy the books to get that, and those books are already actually old. So technically, you need the new editions that aren't out yet. So you're getting demoted.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're gonna have to spend a week on that fucking weird yacht that they make underage people sleep with, like L. Ron Hubbard. Well, I guess now it'd be David Miscavige. So you're gonna have to sleep with David Miscavige if you want to get to fucking Tom Cruise's levels. I know way too much about Scientology.
What do you know so much? Do you watch the
Leah
documentary?
Remini. Thanks to fucking Leah Remini and her fucking god awful depressing Scientology that I had to keep watching because I'm like, how does this get away with this so often?
Right.
But Danny Masterson did not. He didn't make it. He didn't become powerful enough in the Scientology realm to dodge these kind of things.
Yeah, you gotta climb that ladder.
Yeah, because we know Tom Cruise gets away with this all the time. I mean, he kept people in cages.
He did.
He kept people in cages.
I'm amazed. What's her face got out?
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, lock in her cage was loose, and she ran away.
She ran.
She was like,
I'm free.
She freed all the underage boys and ran off with them. She said, "We can get out of here now." And they're like, "They got." Praise you. Oh jeez. But yeah. Goodbye. I mean, so that 70s show reunion out. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, Hyde. Insert your
the name Hyde has such context now that I can never overlook.
Hide from this one.
Just even then. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even taking it that far.
Yeah,
it got darker.
Oh
all
boy.
Right. Well,
all right.
Now we're past the cringe, right?
Yeah,
maybe. All right.
Uncanny Valley.
Okay.
It's not cringe. It might be Uncanny Valley.
A little bit. Uncanny Valley can get
all
cringe.
Right. Jean-Claude Van Damme in Mortal Kombat. First look. Here we go.
Oh, man.
You ready for this?
Yeah. I've kind of seen some pictures. Here we go.
I mean, he has his Bloodsport look pretty much.
Yeah, but it's...
The face feels a little off. Look at that face.
It's kind of clay. I'm getting a little bit of clay. Getting a little bit of... It's like pasty. Doesn't feel like... Feels like a wax Jean-Claude Van Damme.
A little bit.
Like alive. But then again, I'm very used to Jean-Claude Van Damme with his unnecessary mullet, or older Jean-Claude Van Damme who looks kind of grizzled or haggard, I should say. Right. And so this is not. It doesn't match any of those. Like it doesn't encapsulate young, weird, awkward Patrick Swayze Van Damme, and it doesn't have creepy old man Van Damme at all.
Right. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. The face is really off. I can tell you that. And that's kind of the most important part, I feel. Yeah. You could get a lean, buff person easily that's in a Bloodsport outfit. Yeah. But the face is where it's at.
And Bloodsport lends itself well to the Mortal Kombat mythology and the paradigm and how it's built.
Although, look at that...
Sonya's pretty bad.
That's not great either.
No. The more 3D the Mortal Kombat characters got, the weirder they got to me.
Right.
I kind of like the 2D, I guess you could say, what was it? FMV? What is that technique?
That was technically rotoscoping.
Rotoscoping. Okay, so it's like a Ralph Bakshi kind of thing. Okay, cool. All right. So, all right. So, like, I liked that 2D rotoscoping better. I feel like they could have still brought that to a modern era and kept it. I mean, there's a lot of 2D games that already exist now that are very low res.
Yeah, I think so.
And those are fine.
Who knows? We shall see how this game is going to go. Yeah. They're pushing it hard, though. I believe Ed Boon was on Hot Ones today.
Oh, shit. I'll have to watch that.
So they're pushing this game hard.
I know the new Mortal Kombat's are good. The last, 10, 11, this is 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those last 3 were phenomenal games. The characters that they picked from are great. but they don't feel different enough where I feel like I'm like, oh, I got to jump into this.
Technically, it's 1 because they're going back.
Well, yes, but
yeah, 12,
I mean, if you're looking for that
game.
now, is Mortal Kombat Stories coherent enough where you're excited about them rebooting it? Where you're just like, oh, that's good. Let's start fresh. I want a new. Do you ever care, or is it like Tekken to you, where just like, well, the story is there, but like nobody fucking takes it seriously?
After like
Street Fighter 2.
Liu Kang got resurrected, I kind of fell off story wise.
Oh, when he became a god.
He became a god. Yeah,
that was weird. They turned him from like a revenant, which was technically what Scorpion always was, to a god, which was that man. See, like that stuff is because they did the time travel thing. So now that they're, is this still technically, because Liu Kang was going to reset time now? Is this him resetting time, but he's still going to oversee as like the god Liu Kang? Just kind of, but in the background. Is he in the game?
I have no idea.
I haven't seen any pictures of him. I've seen everybody else pretty much.
Of Liu Kang.
I've seen like Baraka and shit, but I haven't seen Liu Kang. So, well, like I guess that's fine. Right. I don't care. I just want them to change the games enough where they're interesting.
If I could rip a skull out, I think that's all that's gonna matter for most people. I'm gonna say.
Yeah. It's hard to reinvent the fighting genre. I mean, I feel like every time Street Fighter tries to do it, the games are hit and miss every other one.
Yeah. Well, I think you can by being more technical. You could still remain in that genre, but with more technical like skill sets, like an SNK3 or an MVC2.
Oh, yes.
Like people don't make games with that dynamism anymore.
They did try to make it more homogenous and watered down for the main audience. I enjoyed Dragon Ball Z Fighters, but it is definitely an easier version of Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
By far.
Right. Exactly. So something like that, I think, could win the hearts of fighting fans, but who knows?
I guess people like the new the last Street Fighter, and everyone likes the current run of Mortal Kombat, so that's fine. Not really that interesting to me. I'd rather go back and play the older ones.
Yeah.
Those Ultimate Collections, those are great.
All right, and second to last story, penultimate story.
Okay.
E3 no longer has an organizer and is no longer without a location for 2024. I mean, it's pretty much dead in the water.
Yeah, because it was the ESA that was maintaining them for many years.
Yep.
As far as I remember.
And they're like, nope, not anymore.
ESA, the people that brought you the rating system for games. You know, that thing that makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, the thing that no one pays attention to.
It doesn't scale to anything. You try to scale to movies, and you're like, well, technically, these, like, the PG-13 movies are problematic because M-rated games have similar themes. It's, like, fucking insane. So, if they're dropping ship, if they're seeing that the fucking thing holding everything together is falling apart, then that's a bad problem because they're already a problem themselves. So this doesn't bode well for E3, which is I'm fine. E3 can go away.
It's fine. Yeah,
it's
most of these can be
worn its use.
Why wait in line to play 20 seconds of a video game?
Yeah,
that you can play in 2 weeks usually.
Now, having said that, if I was a part of the video game industry and I was a developer, reviewer, some sort of person that had their thumb on that existence, then this would be like kind of their Comic-Con?
Comic-Con?
Yeah, it'd be their Comic-Con because then it's like you meet up with people that are like-minded individuals that are interested in the same things, talk shop, shoot around different types of venues to see different types of builds of games. It gives you ideas. It's all synergizing. It's like what CES used to be, but not so much for the public.
Yeah.
And so I think that is cool for those people, but that being a big venue for them doesn't really work. And a lot of people can just do this digitally now.
Yes. Like the DC Fandom. That went well, right?
Yeah.
Well, everyone loved that.
Well, like the Oscars that one year, too.
Or the Oscars.
Yeah, remember that? Remember that?
No. So E3's dead in the water.
Yeah, let it. I mean, they had a digital E3 too one year, I think.
Yeah.
It was like 2021 or something. It was all digital. And I'm like, well, this is probably good for the end. Yeah. This will help speed it up. I like that.
Move it along. Let's get it going. Let's get out of here.
If you go digital, all digital fucking venue, that's a good sign that what you're doing is not fucking holding up anymore.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. All right. Last thing, Invincible season 2.
Okay.
Coming out.
Okay.
November 3rd. Official release date.
Shit.
Official release date.
Oh,
November
shit.
3rd. That is 3. Wait, I can count.
What are you telling? Months or weeks?
2. It's 2.5 months away.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were counting weeks or something. I was like, give me a boundary to go from, and I'll help you, buddy. Did you count the days or minutes?
Yeah. So we finally get a
336
release
minutes.
date. It's coming soon.
Uh-huh.
End of the year, but actually sooner than like usually. This would come out Christmas season, end of Thanksgiving, early Christmas.
It's been so long, I don't even remember. Like when did the last one
early.
released?
It was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah.
Gosh, it was so good. It felt like yesterday.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, that Adam Eve too, man.
Hopefully
that was terrible.
That doesn't like that writing doesn't bleed into the main story. I feel like the Adam Eve is more of like a let's bring in a T.D. Howard to write this, and that's what happened. And now maybe we'll get something good with the next season because they hyped it pretty well at the end. So I feel like it's laid up to just follow out that course and then you're fine. Stay within the realms of the comics enough, but keep your own organic evolution.
Yeah,
they've changed things. Things are different, but
things
it's
are different.
Fun.
I
it's
mean,
still good.
except for the girlfriend.
That they need to cut, and I'm hearing that might be a thing that they cut out. I honestly.
Well, I mean, she eventually breaks up with him. They get him and Adam Eve get together, so that's eventually going to happen. Betrayed her, betrayed the soup kitchen. I don't care if you have to save the world. You need to hang out with me for 2 hours at the soup kitchen. That was the most selfish thing.
I don't give a shit if the world isn't even there. You pull it back and you show the fuck up.
So selfish.
I'm like, you're not gonna make this character likable by not being understanding. Like he's trying to do his best, and everybody's already like, wow, this kid's got the hardest life in the world. He's lived between a rock and a hard place.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not illustrated well by like the person he's with, by like how little understanding she is.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but that's how people are and characters are. Sometimes they're just written bad.
Yeah, or maybe written with too much projection in someone's life, where a writer's just all like, fucking Margaret, I'm gonna fucking make this character. When we get to our bad, Margaret.
I'll talk about something similar to that. I do see that a lot, and a lot of TV shows are really bad about that because they'll have like guest writers, and you can see that they're just like, oh, you had some sort of trauma in your life that you couldn't fucking let go of, and now it bleeds into everything you do.
Yep.
Everything you do, like so unlike you have no connection to it. It's happening and everyone's seeing it. And you're just like, what do you mean? That's what I was saying. I didn't have any I have a great relationship with my father.
It's ridiculous.
Invisible season 2 coming
soon.
A Amazon near you.
Yeah, get that 2-day shipping ready. Let's do it.
Hey, I have Prime. My Invincible should be here tomorrow. No, I don't.
Let's do it. Yeah. No. All right, you ready to move on, Danny?
Let's
move on to our good, the bad, and the ugly.
Nice.
All right, let's start off with bad.
Okay, we'll do bad stuff.
Yeah, I'll start it off.
All right,
with this one. My bad. This week is a little horror film called Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse?
Yes, and it's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
A sorority girl finds a sloth and makes it their mascot. Little do they know, this sloth is savage and it's ready to kill. And yeah.
Okay.
And I was really expecting something more campy, more B horror filmish.
It looks pretty campy.
But it was
my god!
It was just
he's surfing the web.
he's like a cartoon character. He could like use a phone. He could like search the web. He could find directions.
Why is he so quick? Like
There is one like that scene right there where he brings up his hand. There's like a moment where he's about to kill someone. He brings up his hand and the woman's like, no. And right when it comes down slow. And that was probably the best part of the movie. And I laughed pretty hard. And then outside of that,
that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. Like,
it's pretty garbage.
That's one of those unfortunate moments where there's one phenomenally beautiful scene mirrored in just this entire swamp of garbage.
Yeah. Because like it was that moment, and then the rest of the time the sloth was like fast and quick and just kind of snatching people and with like jump scares and stuff. So it was a good moment that didn't like hold it for the character. It was just a moment just to have a moment for a trailer or something. I don't know, but unfortunate. Good concept. I like the idea of a sloth being a murderer.
Yeah. That's. That is new. It wasn't on cocaine. It wasn't some sort of zombie beaver. It's new. You know,
there was no Emily House.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit. I mean, it's not like practical, but I mean, I guess that's the thing. They're going for something. Someone said, "What is the least likely thing to be like a deadly animal?" And they're like, "Fucking tree sloths." And like moss grow on them. They're so slow, they couldn't kill anybody.
No, yeah.
But apparently, just this slow hand coming down. I just keep picturing my head.
It's pretty good. Good moment. But a good moment doesn't make a good film.
Can't save an entire movie. Nope.
So this is my bad.
All right.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Nope.
Maybe I'd recommend the trailer.
Watch the clips, the trailer. Yeah, it seems like a good trailer movie.
Yeah.
There's a few of those.
Yeah.
They're rare.
What's your bad?
All right, my bad is Life During Wartime. It's a 2009 comedy drama. It's like one of those wannabe dramedies. It's by a director called Todd Solondz. I'm familiar with his work because there are 3 movies I had seen over the years that I didn't connect that he had done. He did this movie in 98 called Happiness, in 2001 Storytelling, and then 2004 Palindromes. Those are my 3 favorite movies by him. He also did another movie I saw called Wiener Dog, which was kind of like this. It's a weird movie, though.
That was a weird movie.
And this is more of the same. Like, this is a weird fucking movie. This movie felt like he tried to combine Richard Linklater and fucking Wes Anderson. Like, he tried to find like an in-between for those kind of characters and that kind of like weird raw style. And it just did not work. It didn't work. Too much of them were conflicting. None of them overlapped well. It felt like he was cribbing too much on them in moments, and he didn't feel original like in the other movies.
Right.
Even the art style and the music was very much Wes Anderson influenced.
Interesting.
And so that really kind of put me in a place where I'm like, this doesn't fit. This isn't like making me feel like it's believable and it could stand on its own without those kind of weird pastiches.
Right.
And so I was taken away from it the whole time, and all of the characters were unlikable. The story was unlikable. It was incredibly uncomfortable story where it was trying as hard as it could to say a message because somebody went through something like we were talking about earlier. Somebody went through something in their life and they want to vent it through this. And I don't know if it was in the writing itself or the direction, but god damn, was this movie just unlikable. Unfucking likable. It was just so awkward, and the message it was at times tried to say couldn't quite say, or it got lost. I couldn't pick up on it, but it was bad and very uncomfortable. The subject matter is horrific. Like, it is all about like at one point it becomes like the backdrop, but it's about essentially child abuse, sexual child abuse.
Yeah.
And so it's fucking uncomfortable the whole time in the movie where you're just like, this is not in the subject. The way they approach the subject matter and the kids now they talk about it, how the mom treats the children. She literally tells her daughter to go like take some Klonopin. I've got Percocet in the counter. Just take that if it's out, and just shit like you're just like, oh my gosh, this is a train wreck. But it's not done in the way that is clever and like intriguing. It's more of like unlikable, and it kind of reminded me of Uncut Gems, that Adam Sandler movie, where like all the characters in that were very unlikable and how they like carried themselves. You just didn't root for anyone. You didn't like anything, and it didn't make you think. It just made you feel like your time was wasted, and these people all deserve worse. and so I walked away from that movie going like, what the fuck? Why did I like those other movies so much? Those other movies were phenomenal. Those other movies are like Oscar worthy, but this movie was just like too much of the others.
Interesting.
And it reminded me of Wiener Dog, where it was at least Wiener Dog, he went back to his style and kind of reminded me of Palindromes.
Right.
But the writing was like this, where like some of the subject matter was too much, and I was just like, this is not gripping. It's just like off-putting, and it's just not connecting. It's just almost provocative for provocativity sake. And I didn't find that interesting. I found that more just like, oh well, I can get that anywhere. It's not substance.
Mm-hmm.
But and honestly, I'm gonna try a few more. There's some other movies that he's done that I'm gonna go back and try because I downloaded the rest of his catalog. It's a very short catalog. He's only got like fucking 7 or 8 movies, but I've liked half of them at least so far, and the other half I've hated. So let's see where it goes. I'm gonna watch Dark Horse next, and then there's another one from like the early 90s, Welcome to Dollhouse. I wanted to check out. Fear and Anxiety, Depression. I want to try that.
Okay.
But all the others I've seen, and they're, like I said, hit and miss. So let's see where it goes. And I'll maybe be back with some more bad, some more good. So let's find out.
We'll see.
We'll see. That's my bad,
All right.
Yeah.
Nice bad.
Pass on it hard.
Yeah.
Hard.
All right. Let's go good.
The movie Thomas showed us. I don't even want to say its name, but you know what I'm talking about? That weird movie. That it reminded me of that. There we go. It's that level of uncomfortability.
Wow.
There you go. That's why I couldn't put it into words, but that was it. Yeah, and I won't even say that movie's name. The movie's beyond bad. We got to create a new category for that movie.
Oh, God. What's wrong with our friends category?
Yeah.
God damn.
Oh, right.
Dump some people after this.
Yeah. That'll lose people.
Whew.
Oh, jeez.
All right. My good for the week is a movie you just put on the server.
Oh, shit.
I was talking about it.
Okay.
And how much I love it.
Okay.
And you put it on the server, and I'm like, I'm going to watch it again.
Oh, shit.
And I still loved it. And then stay tuned. This movie is so ridiculous.
You keep hyping it for me. I haven't had a chance to watch it
so
yet.
Good. It's so dumb, though. It's
all right,
dumb.
All right.
It's not. You're not gonna watch it and be like, "Wow, that's some good cinema."
No, but
for sure.
I
But
love UHF. Is it like UHF? I get UHF vibes.
Not as much.
Not really. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
It toes the line a little bit, but
okay.
Not as much as you would think. It's very like TV of the '90s, like kind of lampooning.
I felt like
very much so.
Well, that's more movies though. That's more cinema.
Sure.
Okay. But I see what you're saying.
He even lampoons himself because it's about him. The concept is the devil, or like a agent of the devil, gives him a controller.
John Ritter.
Gives John Ritter the controller that allows him to go into the TVs, and he can jump around to different channels. And there is a joke where he jumps to Three's Company.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's deep. Okay, I like that.
He looks at it, he yells, and then he bails.
Do you remember the later Twilight Zone movie?
Yes,
where they had the kid that could like wish for things. And
yes,
that reminded me of like when he wished the person into the TV cartoons and shit.
Okay,
this kind of looks like that, but way less. The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. Yeah, they do some stupid shit like that. Yeah, like dumb ass jokes. Like remember the old Magnavox commercial with the dude like in the couch?
Yeah, that's classic.
They do a joke on that.
Yeah,
they
there's
do
like a Venom wallpaper of that. That's great.
They do a bunch of like Wayne's World.
Oh, she's parodies on parodies.
Yeah,
okay,
so they're all over the place. I love it. I love it.
Okay,
I like Ritter. I even like this guy. What's his name? Jeffrey Jones. Which was like,
talking about.
Why is he not around anymore?
Oh yeah, because then that awkward cycling back.
Yeah, he was convicted of sexual assault. I think.
Yeah, it's some underage kids. Not good times.
Yeah,
it all just circles back. Brought to you by Epstein's Island.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Well, we just got struck by copyright struck.
Yep.
They're like,
Damn
what you mentioned Epstein and the copyright strike keeps fast.
Yeah.
Like, what does that have to do with it? We don't want to talk about it. All right, well, stay tuned. I'll watch it.
Definitely check it out.
I'll watch the shit out of Stay Tuned.
Yeah.
It looked good. I mean, I like that crossover style, like live action with animation in it.
Yeah, there's the animated scene that's like very Looney Tunes like.
That'd be fun.
Cool. Yeah.
Poor John Ritter.
Poor John Ritter. All right, what's your good?
My good is a movie that has a lot of heart. It's got a lot of soul. It's 1982's The Beastmaster.
Oh.
Fucking Don Casacaleri? I can never say Italian names. I could do this. All right. Casacaleri.
Cascaleri.
Cascaleri. There you go.
Cascaleri.
You got to put more hands into it. That's why I couldn't do it.
Cascaleri.
I like it. Bring that gabagoo.
Yeah.
But this movie is fucking. I don't know if I could quantify it as a movie starring people, but more so a movie that is starring animals. Like the animals are the stars in the movie, and they fucking take the scene. Like the shit they get animals to do in this, and how they play them off, and how they get you connected to it. It was fucking just. It was delightful. It was heartwarming. It was cherished. I cherished how pleasant and just warming this movie was.
Okay.
And it's a good action adventure fantasy movie from the ilk of the 80s, like a lot of the movies we talked about in the past. It holds that kind of caliber, and it's fine in that realm. It's maybe not up to the quality of my other movie that I'm going to talk about, My Ugly, in production, but in goddamn soul and heart, it brings it all. It brings it more than any other movie. And in the end of the movie, spoilers, he has 2 ferrets that are with him, 2 weasels, essentially. Sure. One of them sees Rip Torn coming up behind Beastmaster, getting ready to kill him. Don Geist himself getting ready to stab the Beastmaster in the back. One of the ferrets sacrifices himself, leaps up on the back of fucking Rip Torn's neck, starts ripping it apart, and Rip Torn clutches his neck and falls forward into the fire pit, holding the ferret with him, and fucking Beastmaster's crestfallen, and he's trying to save the ferret, burning his hands, reaching in there, trying to save the ferret, dies, and you're just like, oh, fuck this movie, it's too sad. But shit. At the end of the movie, they show the other ferret with 2 ferret babies, and you're like, oh, they redeemed it. They redeemed it. Oh, the ferret baby, the family lives on. Yeah. Beastmaster was there to raise the children. It's beautiful. As the stepmother. The animals are all really good. The animal stunts are really interesting. The way that the actors deal with the animals, you could tell the actors were having fun. Yeah. That bled through. They weren't taking it so seriously, but they were having a great time. And they hammed it up a lot and had a lot of fun. So that bled out into the actual movie itself. I think Beastmaster is like a bit of a hidden gem nowadays. At one point, it was very popular. When we were younger, especially, it was super popular because they'd rerun it on TV all the time. Redefine the
I definitely seen this on my TV.
Well, they redefined what PG was. I mean, there was nudity in this movie. It's PG. Like, it was wild.
This is
on
before
the stricter
Temple of Doom? Because I know Temple of Doom, people came out, that was a PG. And people were like, oh, shit, there's a guy ripping a heart out in this film.
I think Temple of Doom was late 80s, right? I think Temple of Doom was like 87, 86. Might even be 88 at the latest.
Temple of Doom, 84.
Oh, it was earlier. Okay.
And this was
there 82?
So this was first. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
But this was like on TV. They were showing nudity and showing violence. I mean, when that ferret was ripping Rip Torn's neck apart, he was ripping it apart. He was tearing Rip Torn. He was torn it.
He was ripping it.
There was blood. There was blood going everywhere. There was just like viscera. It was not a movie that pulled punches when things got violent. I mean, the beginning part of the movie is them going around and sacrificing children and such because the Beastmaster is a child of prophecy, which the Beastmaster is born by being transferred from his mother into a goddamn fucking animal, like a cow births him. And so there's like this weird ritual involving a birth of like him being born from an animal, so thus he can communicate and wield animals empathically. Which works enough, but it's wild that they go that route. Now they would be like super light-handed with it. They wouldn't go that far. They wouldn't go that shocking because people would be like, that's too much. And I like that they were like, no, this movie's fucking, we're going to get gritty with it in the beginning 5 minutes. Like, hell yeah. I enjoyed it. And I hadn't seen this movie since I was like fucking 8 years old, man. Yeah. I was like a little kid. And I was like, okay, this movie seems kind of sad and scary. The animals are a little too intense, but I'll enjoy it because of the action. But I didn't really notice how much heart was in this movie. And coming back and watching it, I'm like, well, these people, they're all happy like doing this movie. And the animals are like insanely like in their face. Like it seems very dangerous. There's a lot of times where you're cringing because you're like, holy shit, like
there's like a guy on the other side of the camera going like,
yes,
the trainer going like, we need to cut.
These are big cats. They're fucking vermin that can claw at you, like eagles and falcons that have talons that could pierce your fucking wrist. Like it's scary. It's like, whoa. But you know, the movie still comes off like with a lot of heart and not like kind of shitty or even shocking for a movie that kills a lot of like firstborn children in the beginning. Like it feels very much like a family movie still, because it's very happy at the end.
Yeah.
It has it has one of the ultimate fantasy happy endings, especially when those 2 baby ferrets pop up, and you're just like, the kids. All right, I guess the mom ferret's not alone now. It's not as sad, but still.
Right.
Poor ferret, he got burnt alive. But yeah, still my good the Beastmaster.
The Beastmaster. I have to check that out.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, let's move on to Ugly. So my Ugly is a movie called Strays. Came out this year. Literally just came out, actually.
Oh, geez.
It is a dog movie.
Mm-hmm.
Talking dog movies with the mouth, and they move. You know, your typical talking dog movie.
Homeward Bound.
Kind of Homeward Boundy, yeah.
I mean,
so this is
it's been done, so
it's
a known quantity.
Here's the thing: it's almost like Howard the Duck in a way, where it was like, in the way where it was like a movie this is rated R, but they play it very much like a family friendly film. So it's like they're pulling 2 ways. It's like either go full R with these dogs,
be like was it Sausage Party,
or like go your typical friendly, like lighthearted dog film. And they kind of tried to have their cake and eat it too, for the most part. But I like the concept of the movie. It was about a dog played by Will Ferrell who meets Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx is just like, hey man, your owner sucks, because Will Ferrell thinks his owner is great, and he realizes his owner is played by Will Forte, is a piece of shit. So the whole objective of the movie is that he's going to go back home and bite his owner's dick off.
Oh my gosh.
And that's essentially the film. These 4 dogs get together and they head back to his home and try to bite the owner's dick off. And they do it. For spoiler, they bite Will Forte's dick off.
Oh my goodness. And it still kind of plays off as like a family film almost.
It has those beats, those family beats. Like there's the beats where like Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx's dog character, like they fight and they break up and they split apart before they come back together. Jeez. So it has those beats, right?
Comedies where like the relationship's perfect, but we're gonna have to fall apart, and then by the end of the movie, we're back together. It's like nothing ever happened. We learned so much along the way. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, but it had like, I think the part that makes it not a complete bad is like the random just dog jokes that they have randomly. Like there's a joke where a dog like is trying to lay down to sleep and it keeps going in a circle. He's like, no, wait. They played it like OCD. So he's like, wait, I got to start over. And it kept spinning and spinning. And he's like, wait, I got to do it 3 more times. And then he
see, that's good dog jokes. I like that. That's playing on puns. Those movies are, dog movies are weird. Yeah, I have good nostalgia for like Beethoven and Homeward Bound, but I'm sure if I watch those movies again, they're not going to hold up.
No, not at all.
They're not going to be deeper like fucking Beastmaster, but
I guess the best joke in this film is they go out into the forest, they get lost, they find some mushrooms.
Oh, I saw that in the trailer where they trip it and they imagine themselves as cartoons.
They trip on mushrooms, and then while they're tripping on mushrooms, they fantasize some toy bunnies, and they play with the toy bunnies, and they're having a great time, and then they pass out and they wake up. They're real bunnies. They just murdered and massacred all the bunnies.
Wow, that's pretty dark. I like that.
So it has some good moments, but overall, pretty generic, by the books. Typical film, with a few jokes here and there.
I don't really feel like Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx do anything that like provocative anymore. I feel like they were kind of like just like Kevin Hart and a bunch of other people, where they're just like, oh, you're just known like The Rock. Even it's like, oh, you're just in movies because they had a plot and they needed someone to star in it. It's not that they needed someone to act in it or anything. They just needed someone who fits a type.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well.
Unfortunate, but Strays might be your jam, might not be. If you like a lot of shit humor and like dogs humping things, you might like this film.
I guess, yeah. If you're into dog movies, then there's another dog movie for you. This one's probably the least tragic dog movie to come out this year, because all of those movies tend to be fucking horribly sad.
Yeah, why do they make dog movies so fucking sad for some reason?
Because I've known people, I knew someone who was like really into dog movies, and I asked them, I was like, why do you like these sadly horrible movies? And they're like, well, because it reminds me of the other dogs, and then like sometimes I cry, and I'm like, well, you're just reminding yourself of tragedy. And
yeah,
I guess you could celebrate things sometimes, but like when you want to, I mean, I don't know. It feels like you just want to bring yourself down. You're like, I need to just take it down a notch. I'm not quite depressed enough, so let's put on one of these. Oh, the dog got murdered alone. Okay, and his family never saw him again. Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's like that episode with Futurama when like fucking the dog was waiting for him the whole time.
Sad.
That's the saddest episode. I was like, what the fuck, Futurama?
Episode.
I want you to be happy. You make me cry. Oh my god.
God, this is so sad and so tragic. And
ridiculously.
So
I was like, this is one of the most tragic things I've been facing in my life at this moment.
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's a red flag. If there's a dog in the movie, it's a red flag.
It's a red flag. Get out of there.
Turn around.
What's your ugly?
All right. My ugly is... Okay, so this feels like a nice antithesis to Beastmaster. Okay. My ugly is Willow.
When you said you were watching this, I was like, really?
I hadn't seen it in so long either. I saw Beastmaster and Willow at the same time, like around the same age, and so I'm like, I'm gonna rewatch both of those. And you know, Willow was like important. It was like popular enough, I guess, to get this TV series that obviously is garbage. I'm not gonna touch that, but I watched the 1988 Willow. You know, the Ron Howard joint that was essentially was like a nepo baby, like cashing in on all the nepo babies he could find, and it became this kind of pulling of like strings and favors of people in the movie that are famous but are just phoning it in. Phoning it the fuck in hardcore. Like Val Kilmer seemed like he really wasn't giving a shit. Only person that actually really gave a shit was Warwick Davis. And this is obviously his best role. He's the main character. He's serious about it because this is his big break. He knows he's not fucking like, you know, gonna phone this in because this is his film career at its peak now. He's hitting his apex. He's working with George Lucas and Ron Howard. They're picking him as the lead and using him as a way to tell their story. And he's great. I have no problems with Warwick Davis. He is the best part of the movie. He deserves all the credit of like what he did good in this movie, but everyone else fucking ruins it because they're phoning it in. They're doing like around him, they're bringing like fucking 1 energy and he's at 10 and it sucks. It fucking sucks. Val Kilmer like really seems like he was bitter that he was in this movie, like it was a favor. A lot of the other characters that were famous actors that you'll recognize were just clearly putting in like a low-level effort. I mean, fucking... We were talking about Jeremy Irons being in Dungeons & Dragons. He brought an A game because he's like, I want to earn this money for the castle I bought. I'm not, and I'm also a fucking like a god when it comes to acting. So like he could bring his A game on like a Tuesday, a Monday, and a Wednesday, no problem. All on the weekend, doesn't matter when, he'll bring it. No one else really brought it except Warwick Davis and Ken Baker was in this, like Kenny Baker, who you'll probably recognize as like Waldo or whatever, and from Masters of the Universe with He-Man, like and there's a couple other. Oh, he was in some other roles like Trolls 2 and things like that. Right. And he and Warwick Davis are like two of the most famous like dwarves in acting history. So. And you're going to find a lot of people that tie to that. And all those people were amazing because they're serious about it. They didn't think that their role was any less, even though the people that were acting around them kind of bought that level of energy. Like it almost felt like they were reluctant or insulted that they had to do this movie. Weird. And it comes out so often. So the movie's kind of ugly. And I didn't like it. It's just, and the CG, even though there's a higher production, they use a lot of like CG effects that are low level practical, or like a twisting of practical effects, right? Where they're doing like swapping out some green screens and putting people where they shouldn't be, and using people that are tinier and making them appear as if they're smaller than they actually are. And so that effects aren't good. They're really low budget, and because the special effects and a lot of the things done in the Beastmaster was all practical and real, and they're just using, hey, we're gonna get some phosphorus and create some smoke, and these animals are cool, so they're exciting. We're not CG. They're not fucking CG animals in this movie. Like now it's like all animals are CG. Even in fucking Hidalgo, they had CG animals.
CG, man.
I know, I get it, because it's safe, liabilities, things, but it just loses immersion. Because like Hidalgo would be a perfect movie without the CG leopards and shit, and just so many. I mean, we were talking about the Lion King, where it's like, yeah, they're CG animals, but they don't fit. They don't look normal. They look weird. Sebastian in the Little Mermaid looks creepy. It's like, yeah. So I feel like the special effects that Lucas tried to use in this movie with Ron Howard at the helm, because he's pulling from ILM, that was definitely a lot of stuff they were playing. It was kind of shoddy. It felt like even they were like putting their B game. It felt like everybody brought their B game except everybody the people who suffer from dwarfism. So it's like, what the fuck, man? It's such a weird contrast. It's jarring. So it's like, I would say this for Warwick Davis, this movie is good. For anyone else that's trying to look at this movie as like a good fantasy movie compared to some other things that we've gone over, it doesn't hold up. It just doesn't. It's not great. It's unsettling in moments, and it just feels weird and confusing. And the baby is crying through most of the goddamn movie.
Fucking baby.
Just screaming and crying. It's like you're trapped at one behind in a restaurant, and you're like, no, it's just in my movie. Fucking A.
God damn it.
Yeah. And that's why Ron Howard has got a lot of misses. Like, you look at his repertoire. I really enjoyed Cocoon. There was something else that he had done that I can't remember off the top of my head, but most of his other movies haven't been great. Like the Grinch remake, remember that with Jim Carrey? That was
yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm good on that. I just honestly, when it comes to Ron Howard at this point, I prefer more doing the narration and voiceover in Arrested Development than actually making movies. I think his heyday is probably gone.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that when it comes to big budget movies like this, it's not his forte. You remember Gung Ho, actually, with Michael Keaton, about like the Japanese businessman coming to America to try to save the factory? Yeah. Those movies are good for Ron Howard. The weird like slice of life, like small town movies. He needs a more smaller scope. I don't think big scope movies are great for him. Cocoon feels like a small scope.
Apollo 13 was great.
After watching First Man, not so much.
Really?
No.
I have to go back. I'm saying this like haven't seen it in a while, so maybe you're right.
There's a lot of unnecessary drama going on in Apollo 13 that makes that movie feel fucking messy and like kind of annoying. I feel like they're more to the real with the drama in First Man, and I just feel like Damien Chazelle's a better director than Ron Howard. That's just clear. That's just undoubtedly clear.
Okay.
It's kind of weird how he even like. I feel if Lucas took the full helm on this movie, it would have turned out a little bit better, and people would have been more willing. Because like maybe it's also the reluctance that they're working with dwarves, but it's the reluctance that they're working under Ron Howard and not George Lucas.
Yes.
But Lucas is attached as the writer.
True.
I mean, I could see people like, especially a young Val Kilmer, being like, "I want to work with George Lucas, not fucking this guy from Happy Days."
Yeah, this motherfucker.
Fucking Ronnie from Happy Days or whatever.
All right, that's a good ugly for sure.
Yeah,
not bad. All right, let's move on to the main subject of the week, and that is our favorite soundtracks from late 90s, early 2000 soundtracks, OSTs. When OSTs actually meant something, when they would put $20 to $30 million into a music video for the movie. You know, you'll never see that anymore.
Nope.
When almost like they would even have like the music video where it's almost like a side story to the movie,
or
almost.
A trailer in ways.
A trailer, yeah.
Remember Puff Daddy playing with Jimmy Page for that cover of, I think it was Black Dog?
Uh-huh.
Or I think, yeah, it was for the Godzilla movie.
Although we ain't going nowhere.
I don't think that was the one. No. It was because he plays it over. Is that the same one?
I thought that was. No, you're right.
No,
that's not it. No, you're talking about
Black
Godzilla ones.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah, so that's for Godzilla. Like that was that one Godzilla movie with Matthew Broderick.
Yes.
Godzilla, not 2000, but the one that came out in 1999.
Exactly. So good stuff. A lot of bad stuff too, but good stuff all around. So we're gonna give you our top 5. I started off.
All right.
My number 5, and I mentioned this to you already. It is a Batman Forever soundtrack. This soundtrack,
but I'm still surprised.
It was so all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you had Seal's Kiss from a Rose that was like blown up everywhere, right? Yeah. But then you had like Offspring. You had Method Man. You had Sunny Day Real Estate back in the day when they were still a thing.
This soundtrack's got range, man. It's like Keira Knightley.
And you had Flaming Lips. The
Yeah.
Flaming
Wild.
Lips on the soundtrack.
With Method Man.
Yeah, with Method Man.
That's a wild thing. Would you ever
Right?
imagine to see
Flaming Lips
on the
and
track with
Method Man
Such a-
and one soundtrack?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And Offspring.
It was
Still-
so good. I had this CD.
Oh, you physically own
I
it?
owned this CD when 1995. Yeah, 95. Yeah, I definitely owned it for sure. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play the shit out of this CD.
I just imagine just picturing Jim Carrey's face on the cover being like
Yep.
the biggest face, like the biggest.
It's the typical. It's the same as the movie poster.
Oh, okay. So Jim
Yeah.
Carrey's dead center, but Val Kilmer's face is the biggest. But it's Val
Yeah.
Kilmer with the cowl on, so you don't even know.
Exactly.
Don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, it's not Val Kilmer, is it? It's yeah, it is Val Kilmer.
It's Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, wait, wasn't that George Clooney by that point? No,
Batman
that's
Robin.
Yep, you're right.
All right. What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5 is actually one that got me into a couple of different bands. It's the 2001 soundtrack for the Royal Tenenbaums.
Interesting. This is interesting. Okay.
So this one is the soundtrack that got me into Nico and like the Velvet Underground, because this has like Nico on there, Velvet Underground, obviously. There's Elliott Smith is on here. This is the first time I've heard Elliott Smith, and my favorite Elliott Smith song, which is "Needle in the Hay."
Yes.
So
Needle
that
in the
was
Hay's in there.
yeah, that's my
one.
so that was kind of cool. A classic Judy as a Punk by the Ramones, fucking Wigwam with Bob Dylan. The fact that those are both in there, but then this was the piece de resistance and why I like this soundtrack. It has the Police and Thieves by the Clash, and I was just like, yes, a soundtrack with the Clash in is always a win for me. It's always a good movie. They make such good movie music. I feel like their fucking style placed almost any trailer, anything like that. So I really enjoyed this soundtrack overall. I didn't own it, but I downloaded it, and I actually was like pulling a few songs off of it because I liked when I had watched the movie. I liked how some of the songs I hadn't heard before sounded. So I'm like, let me swoop up this OST. Let me give them a try. Let me play them up. Let's get some of their music. I digged into the Velvet Underground, and I was like, oh, I like all this. It's really good. This is really enjoyable. Some of the songs that I ended up liking most of all of those bands weren't even on the soundtrack, but still,
Yeah.
these were great. I think it's of Wes Anderson soundtracks. It's my favorite of them.
Interesting.
Which the Darjeeling Limited is a strong second, sometimes first, depending on my mood, but predominantly second, because that one's got the Kinks all over it. But no, it's Royal Tenenbaums all the way.
Oh, so this is very fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 4 is Rushmore.
Oh shit! Hell yeah!
And it's a similar reason. There's a lot of Kinks.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Kinks. We got
Yes.
some John Lennon's Cat Stevens, a lot of Cat
Yes.
Stevens, which I loved. I watched this before I watched Harold and Maude, so I wasn't like, oh shit, Cat Stevens is everywhere.
Yeah, fair enough. You're right. They do lean into it hard there.
So this is where I mainly listened to a lot of Cat Stevens back in the day. I heard
That's
it
dope.
first here. Who else do we got? Mark Motherberg, The Creation, The Kinks, Chad and Jeremy. That
Mhm.
sounds familiar.
I think that sounds familiar. 'Cause I think I have that OST as
The
well.
Who.
Yes. I almost have the Who on like
but yeah.
every
I
soundtrack he puts out.
loved the soundtrack,
Yeah.
and I think I might agree with you that Royal Tenenbaums is a better soundtrack, but I think this hit at the right time for me,
Yes.
more so than Royal Tenenbaums. That just worked. It just worked, and I enjoyed it. And I remember I think I used Napster. No, it was probably
LimeWire or
LimeWire at the
Kazaa,
time. LimeWire at the
Morpheus.
time. I was like I got the whole thing, downloaded it, just played it constantly,
Oh
nonstop.
yeah. I
It's
mean,
good stuff.
it did all the Wes Anderson soundtracks are amazing. He does
Yeah.
that well.
He does.
That's why that movie I was talking about, The Love During Wartime, like that one
Mhm.
tried to do that at moments, but it never fit because then it wasn't earned. It didn't feel earned. It just felt like it's like, now get into this
Interesting.
music, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm kind of wanting to get out of this movie. Can't pull me back in. Sorry. Yeah, good 4.
What's your 4?
All right, my number 4 is a fucking banger of a soundtrack. I think you might even be surprised by the fact that I even picked this, but it's Night at the Roxbury.
Oh shit!
Fucking Night at the Roxbury.
That is a great one.
I'm telling you this. I actually, my cousin had this CD, the soundtrack, and I burnt a copy of it.
Yeah.
Like on our old IBM computer. It was like one of the first CDs I copied, and it was great. I used to listen to it all the time. Like there's just something about that weird 90s house music that's just great. There's just so many bangers. Like let me go through this list for you here. We got some fucking some beasts. Man. Make That Money by Rabbi Rob's Club World. Bam Boogie by Bamboo.
Sure.
Here we go. You're gonna like this one. This takes you back. Careless Whisper by Tamir.
Oh, yes.
That's a classic. Let's see. A Little Bit of Ecstasy by Jacqueline Enriquez, I mean. Here we go. Be My Lover. Everybody knows Be My Lover by La Bouche.
Yes.
A Beautiful Life by Ace of Base. Fucking Ace of Base. I love Ace of Base. So that was already like, oh, cool. You got Ace of Base on there? That's a great soundtrack. What Is Love by Hathaway. Yes. Everybody remembers that. This Is Your Night by Amber. Which is a jam. Fucking jam. Pop Music by Third Party is all right, but Insomnia by Faithless, that's a good one. Do You Think I'm Sexy? The Rod Stewart fucking trance remix, which is a fucking great remix.
Oh, shit.
That is a good one. I listen to this to this day still. Like a week ago, I had that on. Disco Inferno by Cyndi Lauper is actually pretty good. Okay. Surprisingly for her later in her career. What Is Love by Hathaway, again, the 7 remix. And then Where Do You Go by No Mercy.
Way to go, yeah.
Perfect way to fucking end that soundtrack, man. Ooh. It's a good fucking track, man. It's a good OST all over. I could put on all of it. That music, though it is very much a product of its time, it still feels timeless. You put it on, you're like, you come alive. You're just like, this is great. You feel the emotion. It feels raw. And you're like, this is the dumbest movie with the most profound soundtrack. You could like put it to your like breakups and your family moments and your heart and your heart-wrenching tribulations. But then you look at it to what it plays and you see Chris Kattan and we were talking about Will Ferrell earlier. It's like, this is him in his infancy. You see that and it's like such a weird juxtaposition. They just don't line up. Like the music just doesn't fit for the people they are, and that's why that movie is so jarring and casual, or I guess I could say comically a mess. So much a comical mess. But it's enjoyable. I like that movie. I like that music with it. I would not disrecommend it. I would say it is very much a 90s movie, and those are very much 90s songs. So if they still speak to you because you enjoyed that music originally, then it still will. But I don't know. I could see a younger person being like, I don't know about any of this music. I mean, but then again, I enjoyed New Wave, and I was a kid in the 90s, essentially. Yeah. So, like, I still liked music from, like, when I was a baby, essentially. I'm not even born yet. So that might work for a lot of people still. It's weird. It's a very strange movie with strange music. But yeah, I would definitely say it's a good gift to give to anyone.
God damn, I'd love that.
Just fucking give it to them. Joke gift, serious gift. It works. It just works.
Yeah. Oh, so good, right?
Yeah. You're going to put that shit on later.
I might.
Why not? It's all killer. I mean, some of these soundtracks have like skits on them and what have you. That is all killer. There are no skits. It's just banger after banger. It's going to get you going.
It's gonna get you going. All right. My number 3. I was gonna put Men in Black on this, but I realized that actually the Men in Black soundtrack sucks. It's just the one song.
Yep.
It's just the one.
It's a big problem.
Song.
There's a lot of movies like that.
Yeah. So I couldn't put it on here. So I am going for my number 3. Friday.
Oh shit, that's a dope soundtrack.
Yeah, we're talking. We got some Al Green. We got some Ricky Nelson. We even got Samuel L. Jackson doing like a mid break, just talking to Ezekiel.
What is that? Is that song by Dre? It's Keep Them Heads Ringing, like that ring ding.
Yeah,
dong,
ring ding
ding ding dong.
Yeah.
I love that song. That's
a good one.
A Friday soundtrack though, right?
Andre Young, yeah.
Yes, that's a fucking good song.
Friday night.
I hadn't heard it since the movie in many years, and I like caught the music video, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot about this song." And downloaded it and just fucking threw it on loop for a long time. Yeah, that's good Dre right there. That's
it's good stuff. It is
good choice. Good fucking choice. 90s. That's kind of like mine, where that's like just a solid soundtrack.
And it's just a solid all around soundtrack. Yeah. That like, I think it was one of those soundtracks where I think, especially during this time, I guess you could say that for all of these films, because it was just at a time where like I picked up a lot of things from these films before I actually, I guess, listened to their albums proper.
Yes, yeah. That was definitely a common thing where people are like, I like this song because this movie made it popular. There's very much less of that now, but yeah. It's what happening now is like movies are bringing back songs and making them popular again, and that's getting weird. You know, because like those dirtbag teenage TikTokers got to get their content out there, and they got to bring these make these old bands popular again. Because without them, it's like what else is
man?
OSTs are dead, so we need the dirtbag teenage TikTokers.
Oh boy. All right, what's your next one?
All right, so this one is a little more on the skit side, but it's still got and not all of them are completely perfect. There are a few songs on here I'm not so great about, but the ones that kick are perfect. And that's Shaun of the Dead soundtrack. Now, I fucking love this soundtrack as like a background, kind of just chill and do things, because like the skits are always funny and they keep you in the mood of like just motivated to do stuff because they keep your energy high. But then when the songs come on that you like and you know, they just fucking take you away. They have fucking like some of my favorites was like Ghost Town by the Specials, and then fucking Mr. Mental by the 80s Matchbox Beeline.
Disaster.
Well, Matchbox Beeline Disaster is
fucking... Say the whole thing.
Well,
Put
respect
on it.
That's true. Do the whole thing, because fucking that song is like, it kicks off and it's like, it feels like it's like a fucking chase, like you're fucking chasing someone.
Yes.
Like I feel like you're doing a fucking bank heist. And then Panic by the Smiths was perfect because of how the zombies are breaking out and how everyone's reacting. The thing that I really wanted to get right off the bat was because it had 2 Queen songs on it. And I thought that was like fucking perfect to double up on for the way they used it in the movie. Like Don't Stop Me Now was pretty good, and You're My Best Friend was like kind of tragic, but it worked perfectly.
At the end,
it was like that worked. That worked so well. But probably the most iconic is like one of the ones from the movie that was used as a skit that actually made it in as a real song was White Lines by fucking was it Melomel? Melomel. Yeah, Melomel doing White Lines. That actually became a skit in the movie that people quote very often, more than they probably quote the song. And it was kind of funny at a moment. Maybe not so much now. Maybe it's changed. But when that movie was out, everyone was quoting that skit and didn't even really know about that song.
Yeah.
They just referenced that. And I was just like, you guys ever heard White Lines? It's a weird song. It's about cocaine addiction. Check it out.
Man,
it's fucking weird.
Check out the music video. They're just doing cocaine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But my favorite song of all that I never heard of until actually checking this out was Blue Wraith.
Blue Wraith. Interesting.
Do you know the song that he played in the beginning when he was going to work and everybody was just kind of like meandering around?
Yes.
That boop, 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 boop. That fucking is a good song. Like I never listened to it before, and actually coming across it in that movie. Yeah, it's Blue Wraith by I Monster.
Interesting. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's such a weird, quirky song. It reminds me of like Tiny Tim's kind of music and stuff, where it's like high pitch and like high energy.
Yeah.
And like you kind of feel like crazy while you're listening to it, but it's fun. I like that song a lot, where I like to put it on and just get blitzed to it and just hear it. The full version is actually quite like long. It's like a 3-minute song, 3.5 minute. But this version's only like a minute and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right.
It's my favorite song on that album.
It's a good one.
That's a good album.
That's a good one. Good choice. All right. My number 4 choice
would be your number 3, wouldn't it?
No, my number 3 was what did I say? What was my last one?
You were going for my gosh. My brain just shut down.
It was holy shit, what did I just
You did
choose?
Batman Forever, and then after Batman Forever
I did Rushmore,
yes. That's why I got confused, because I kept thinking Royal Tenenbaums.
And then I did the thing that I can't think of now. Friday.
So Friday was your 3, so this would be your number 2 then.
This is my number 2, yes. Yeah. Okay. My number 2, very quotable soundtrack. Everyone quoted a lot of the songs from this, and that is Office Space.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, I really love the soundtrack. Of course, everyone goes with Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on, let me pull it up.
No More Tears by Scarface. That's
Number 2.
That's my jam on that. That's a good choice.
One.
That was actually probably my number 6 if we had more.
Okay.
That's a good one. I almost put that on there, but I was like, there's like 3 songs on that I really like to listen to most of all. But yeah, that's a good.
Get Off My Elevator.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
That's a good one. That's a good fucking. Overall, it's a good fucking soundtrack.
Everyone, the Ghetto Boys song, Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster, but I like Still by the Ghetto Boys, which is also in there. That's kind of like the more somber one at the end. What else we have? And when what's his name? Mike Judge went on Rogan. He was like, "Here's Big Dick Willie from the Ghetto Boys. I just brought him for fun."
What the fuck? That's so weird. Mike Judge knows so many musicians. It's fucking hilarious.
It's always weird. I always find it weird that like one of my first reactions to go and like look up some like solid like R&B and hip hop is to look up this old white man.
Okay.
And his tastes. Because he even will write about it or tweet about it or stuff like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see what Mike Judge is talking about in the hip hop game.
Yeah, when it comes to music in general, his show Mike Judge's Tour Bus is fucking number 1 next to nothing. Like that, nothing comes up to the level of like deep cuts and joy and like love you feel from Mike Judge about the music he's talking about. Yeah, and just the way he animates, it's fucking hilarious too.
It's I dig it.
He made animated interviews funny. That's weird,
right?
Yeah. But that's Mike Judge for you.
That's Mike Judge, yeah. And a lot of what Mike Judge's soundtracks are pretty solid.
Oh yeah, Beavis and Butthead soundtrack almost got on here too. That'd be probably 7.
Interesting.
Do America, that's a great one.
Do America.
Fucking the Chili Peppers doing that roller coaster song is good. There's so many. The fucking White Zombie has a song on there. White Zombie, not Rob Zombie.
Not Rob Zombie.
That old.
Yeah. Damn, White Zombie. All right, what's your next?
All right, so my second one is where things got a little more interesting, kind of in the vein that Royal Tenenbaums did, where it showed me some bands for the first time, and that's fucking Train Spotting. This OST is full of so many gems that I had never listened to before. I had never heard of Joy Division. I never heard of fucking Iggy and the Stooges. I was going crazy when I fucking put this on. I was like, okay, I need to hear all these back catalogs of the people who work on this, because I had never come across that kind of intensity and that raw feeling in that genre of music. It's the perfect type of music that I liked, and from like The Cure essentially. That Joy Division reminded me a lot of The Cure, where it's like the proto punk going into like the new wave, and Iggy of course is like the grandfather of most of that stuff. But getting to hear him for the first time, that was like my mind being blown. Like him and the Stooges and their just kind of distortion of their music and his energy. I was like, okay, this is a good soundtrack. I'm going to listen to this, because I had found the soundtrack online pretty easily, even though I thought, this thing might be kind of hidden, because Train Spotting is a bit of even though we reference it a lot and most of our friends know about it, it's still very much like an indie film, a more side film. It's not a very common movie. Yeah. And it's definitely hard for people to watch.
That was on my, I guess, I have like a list of things that didn't make the list.
Oh, but closest, the Train Spotting one?
Train Spotting's on
that makes sense. It's a great one. I mean, it's got Bowie on it. Let's be real. Yeah, there's a multiple Iggy Pop fucking underworlds on here, which is great. And there's a few clips, not too many. And that's the thing that I appreciated about it, is that there was like the quotes from the movie that mattered, and not just like little throwaway jokes. They took like the more iconic quotes and like peppered them in, and I'm like, oh, this is good. These are good sample tracks. I like this. It's a good sample. So fucking, when it comes to OST, that was like, for my life, that was a very pivotal one that kind of got me onto a lot of music. Because that's kind of, for me, like movies was a gateway to music.
Sure.
More often than not.
Yeah.
There was a ton of movies that I had like pulled music from over my life that I would have never heard probably without the movie, like unless I came across it through another band that like Last FM reference to me or something, but it wouldn't likely happen. It's a rarity. So, and that's generations of people who come across these tunes and still listen to them to this day.
Yep,
we'll keep them alive forever in a weird way. Train Spotting's great for that.
Train Spotting is great.
That's 2 from the UK for me, Kyle. How many you got from the UK?
I didn't. Yeah, not that many. None,
it was kind of surprising to me, where like right away I was like, well, after Shot of Dead, I'm gonna go Train Spotting. Go from Jolly London to not so jolly Scotland.
Let's It's great.
Mm.
All right. Let's see. What's my final? Let's see. Okay, I know what my final is. Before I do my final, I'm gonna name some things that didn't make the cut.
Honorable mentions.
We got Velvet Goldmine,
Oh.
Pulp Fiction,
Oh.
anything with Jet Li and Aaliyah or Jet Li and DMX.
Well, Pulp Fiction's too early though.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put it. It's 94.
Yeah, trust me, I was right there too. I was like, oh, Pulp Fiction's probably one of the best, and I'm like, well, it's too early.
Let's see. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Holy shit!
Yeah, that might.
But isn't that more of less of an OST and like a score, because like it's like the movie and the music kind of overlap with each other in a weird way, and it's all kind of original essentially. And their performance or their iteration of it.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a bit of a gray area. It's like musicals. It's confusing. How do you quantify the soundtrack?
Exactly. Well, no, because I'm gonna say my last choice is one of these choices.
Oh.
It's all original music. But what quantifies it is the music videos at the time.
Okay.
The soundtrack itself was having commercials, things like that, and like the idea is that the soundtrack was almost selling the film.
Well, what about a movie like The Wall, where the soundtrack and the movie and the CD are all the same thing essentially?
Yeah.
There is no like difference.
Technically.
Yeah, it's meant to be one thing. Just there's a visual end to it, but it was never. Yeah, that's a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, that never happens anymore.
No.
So we don't have that problem, but that is a unique one.
We're good. Yeah, not too many people doing that many drugs.
No, not enough.
Unfettered, at least.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so my last choice, as I said, it is one of these films where it's technically you could say it's a score, but the soundtrack was sold and packaged as kind of its own thing. I'm trying to look up his name because I can't think of it right now.
It's the name of the man who wrote this song.
God damn it.
You're talking about Elvis Costello.
He's dead. He died. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's exactly who.
It's the soundtrack Elvis Costello did for Austin Powers 2.
Adam, what's his name? Adam Schlesinger did all the music. You might know him from the guy from that one band that I can't think of. Wow, my brain is going dead right now. Holy shit, my buildup just went
maybe we shouldn't get aggressively high before we do podcasts.
I guess not.
Damn it, we have a tradition.
It's that
we
thing
have
you
to
do.
keep it.
It's that thing you do. That's
Jesus Christ, that's amazing.
I was building it up. I was building it up too much and I forgot everything. But yeah, Adam Schlesinger, who was
that's a amazing
what's
movie
the name
and
of the
soundtrack.
band? Stacey's girl. Stacey's mom.
Fountain of Wayne's.
Fountains of Wayne. So he's the main.
Stacey's girl.
Stacey's girl. Yeah, Stacey's girl. I love that shit. What does it sound worse? Stacey's girl.
Yeah, it does sound. She's got it going on.
He pretty much did the entire soundtrack, especially for all the Wonder stuff. But he also did like all the weird like jazzy music as well, and the Motown kind of songs as well.
It's like one of Rob's favorite movies.
Jeez. I know.
I love that movie.
We did a podcast on it a while back.
That's
how much we liked it.
What a quiz! Yeah, it's a good. I mean, it is an enjoyable and just perfectly put together movie. The music flows great. The tempo is great. The speed on which the story plays out is phenomenal.
It's perfect. Like one-hit wonder movie.
Never. Yeah, and it never was replicated again. They never rose to that level.
I correct you. It was replicated in that episode of South Park where they did the Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah, that's true. It was never reinvented again, but it was definitely remixed. Oh Jesus, that was a great one.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh God, that was such a good one.
But yeah, the soundtrack's great. I have this soundtrack as well, and I played that.
That's a good soundtrack.
Shit out of this.
That's actually I didn't even think about that. That's because it's original music too.
Yeah.
So
and
fun.
They played those music videos all on TLC.
It's got that guy who's the 90s actor that's in like all 90s movies all the time, like American Werewolf in
that
Paris
one guy. Yeah, I know. Tom Everett Scott.
Yes,
Jesus. I like to call him.
Now he does like knockoff zombie TV shows.
Yeah, what is he doing?
He was doing like that movie called Z, or the TV show called Z Nation. He was like the main character.
The latest thing is something called the Summer I Turned Pretty.
Oh no! Oh man!
So that's where he's at.
What was that movie where he had to kill his he had to get his college dorm roommate to commit suicide so he could get all A's? Wasn't it like
oh shit,
Dead Dropout or Dropout Dead or something? No, I'm not thinking of fucking Drop Dead Fred.
Drop Dead Fred. I
There you go.
remember
Best
that one.
OST of the night. No, that's like
Hell
late
yeah.
80s, I think.
I think
even.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. How about you? What's your
All right.
last
So this
one?
one's got an interesting place in my life because it was back in the early 2000s, probably like 2003, 2004, and I was still pirating through I guess it would be Supernova at the time, so that was still relevant.
Wow.
And so I wanted to download Almost Famous off of Supernova, and I accidentally downloaded the OST, and I just remember opening it up and being like, "Holy shit, this is like a fucking greatest hits compilation, or not greatest hits compilation, but like a good compilation of like all the classic rock music that I had listened to growing up from my parents." So it was like stuff that I was aware of and liked because of that. And to see it all together in one place was actually kind of rare. Normally, I didn't come across stuff like that because my parents would buy the albums. They never buy Rockin' Jams Volume 1. They wouldn't get that shit.
Exactly, yeah.
So seeing it like this and actually having it was kind of cool because I still burnt CDs at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, hey, fucking, I'll throw this together. And it's actually got some fucking monolithic fucking rock stars in one place. When you were talking earlier about how they broke money out to do these soundtracks, you immediately feel that right away because it's like The Who, Simon & Garfunkel, Leonard Skinner, Elton John. Yes, Led Zeppelin. Fucking expensive to get Led Zeppelin.
Oh boy.
The Beach Boys, man. Fucking the Seeds, a little more lesser on it, but the Allman Brothers still pretty big at the time. David fucking Bowie, Stillwater's big. Rod Stewart still pretty big at that time.
Sure.
And Clarence Carter, which was not too big at that point in their career, but Cat Stevens still got some fire.
Yes.
This was another nice Cat Stevens one.
Velvet Underground.
Velvet Underground's on here too. There's a lot of it. Oh man, the way they use Tiny Dancer in the movie.
Yes, that's
when
the
they're
most
singing.
Iconic part of the movie. For
And
sure.
that ties really well
And
to the
all,
soundtrack.
And they all just kind of at the end
That's-
where they're singing.
And that's why I was so happy that I had gotten the soundtrack too, because I was like, all right, I'm not even mad I don't have the movie yet. I'll still get that later, and I did on my slow ass fucking download, or my probably 56K even, who knows? Still at that point. So I was like, all right, fuck it, and explain to why I got the movie and download in a day. I'm like, oh, because it's just a soundtrack. Fucking movie's gonna take a weekend. Fuck me.
So good. What were they on? They were on like a bus or?
Yeah, they were just okay. So they had just had that party where he did LSD and everyone was kind of hungover, and he jumped off the roof and nearly killed himself.
Okay, yeah.
Left in there, and they're riding back, and it's very somber.
Yeah,
and they all start singing "Tiny Dancer" by Elton John, and it's perfect.
Yes,
it is the paramount or not. It's the pivotal scene in the movie that it's the changing of the gear of the emotion from everything was fun and games before. Now we're adults now. We're maturing into our reality that we have to accept.
Right.
And that's when the tone changed from the movie from that point forward. The main character was like, I gotta get back home. I gotta get my life together. I can't live with these people. I'm going back. And it's such a good movie. And I enjoyed it. And I really wanted to watch it. But man, listen to the soundtrack was a good thing to tide me over.
Yeah.
It really was. I fucking burnt that to a disc and had it in my car rotating around for a while. It's one of the best soundtracks in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, that's up there.
Yeah, because it's got all fucking really iconic fucking bands.
I don't have Almost Famous on here.
Yeah, you should get it. It was on the server for a bit when I had the music hard drive hooked up because it's one of my oldest it's literally probably my oldest soundtrack that I've downloaded. Funny. It is wild. Yeah. So when you said this, I was like, oh, I got a few of these right away that I think of all the time. Because that one always sticks out to me because it tricked me. And it's happened before. It'll happen again where I'm like, is this the movie? No, this is the goddamn soundtrack. Ah, fuck.
That's great. Good list. Oh, speaking of white lines, I just put Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I wanted to bring up the new Mutant Mayhem movie
has white lines in it.
Has white lines in it.
What?
Yeah, I mean they just has that.
Oh, weird.
It doesn't have the. It kind of has it doesn't have the lyrics or anything.
Well, it even doesn't have the tragic story about cocaine abuse.
No,
for children to understand while they watch their mutant ninjas.
Yeah, it even has what's it called? Fuck.
You're lost today, Kyle.
I am I'm lost for words today. I cannot think of.
Find your words, Kyle. Dig them up. Here's the shovel.
Oh,
All right, 20 questions. What's it pertaining to? Is it a house? Is it
Wu-Tang.
a person? It's Wu-Tang.
They have
Ghost
two
Dog.
Wu-Tang. They have 36 chambers, and then they have
36 Chambers is in the Ninja Turtles movie?
Yes.
It's kind of weird.
And then they have the
Kinda weird.
Dirk McGurk song.
Which
The
fucking hey dirty baby, you got your money.
No, baby, I like it raw.
Oh, ooh, baby, shimmy shimmy yo, shimmy yeah. Give me the mic so I can take it away.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
I'm way too white to be rapping this much.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I wanted to bring up. So, good list.
Wait, those were on the Ninja Turtles soundtrack?
Yeah, I was just like, it's an out there soundtrack.
Like it raw is on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
For a kids movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty out there soundtrack.
What the fuck?
It was pretty good.
I
And
mean,
I'm all
yeah,
like, wait, kids.
Sounds better than the movie.
Kids
but I mean, you
are-
gave the movie a pretty good praise.
I enjoyed it.
I mean-
It's still a kids movie, but
I'm kind of leery of non-fully animated Ninja Turtle movies. I really just give me an anime. I want a Ninja Turtles anime about the last Ronin. Let's do that.
there you go.
Dude, that game's
there
gonna
you
be
go.
dope.
Yes.
It's gonna be dope. I don't even.
I'm
know what
excited
it
for that
is.
game.
I'm already excited for it. I
Let's
don't even
do
know what it is.
Don't know.
It could be a
anything.
rail shooter. It could be
Could be
terrible.
Pixels. Who knows?
It could be. I mean, that could be cool. Turtles of Time.
Pixels in the movie with Adam
Oh,
Sandler.
Jesus
Sorry,
Christ.
yeah.
You're holy shit! It really is the apocalypse.
Oh, great list. Let's get out of here. Danny, what did we learn today with these lists? Did we learn anything?
Yeah, we learned that there is an easy way to pretty much bookend your movie, and it's to get good quality music, and it'll fill in your movie for you and do like half your work. I mean, look at what Tarantino does. Look at what Wes Anderson does. If you've got a good soundtrack, your movie's gonna be fucking laid out on like a good structure that'll kind of carry it along. And now it's not so much.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that too much. That's unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
There's no more like the kids at school being like, "Did you get the fucking Night at the Roxbury soundtrack? We need to bring that back." Night at the Roxbury
Let's
2.
do it.
Let's get Chris Kattan some work.
Yeah, where's he been?
That's what I learned today. That Chris Kattan doesn't
Chris
have any
Kattan
work, and we need to
needs
get
more
him
work.
back out there.
Let's if we learned one thing today, it's that Chris Kattan needs to be seen. Every time he's not on camera, people should be saying, "Where's Chris Kattan?"
Cut it.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you love this podcast, we have a lot more content over at freespeechgeek.com. We have upcoming convention coverage, news about your favorite weeb shit. We also do in-depth takes like, are some fans more religious than Christians, Jews, and Muslims? Spoiler alert, yes, some of you crazy people are. All that and more over at freespeechgeek.com. Go check it out, you psychopaths.